Let's go!
You know, you can't get those guys extra possessions.
Commanders fans, we've already broken down the first half of this disastrous game. Let's go to the second. And the funny thing about it is you're in a pretty decent spot, all things considered. Jordan Mailata, one of the best left tackles in the game, gets burned right here by Armstrong, and you get a big sack, which leads to a punt. All right, so we get to the 2nd and 8, and what have we always said about Jayden Daniels? He can escape out of pretty much any situation, but the worst matchup for him are the Philadelphia Eagles, just because they're just so good at every position up front, and this is without a healthy Brandon Graham. I mean, if Jayden has time, he's hitting Zach Ertz right here on this dig. Zach's probably still working here. And even if Bond covers this, he's probably just working to Austin Ekeler for a nice little gain. The problem here is there's immense A-gap pressure. And the worst type of pressure to give up is A-gap pressure. So Allegretti going up against Jordan Davis, not to be confused with the country music star, and he allows him to go to the inside, which is the A-gap in this instance. Jalen Carter right here getting double-teamed, and honestly, Coleman does a good job getting 19 basically to the ground. Maybe Jayden could have given ground and span out this way. He tried, but Davis, his paws are just too big in this instance, and it's a big, big, big sack. And it sets up to 3rd and Silver Spring. There's really not a whole lot you could do here except run a screen. I actually like this play call, and you actually get really good blocks right here. This could have been better. I would have liked to have seen this interior lineman get to this shoulder. This allowed 93 to give ground to get back into the play. If you make that block, this is probably a little bit more interesting, but 93 does eventually come back and make the tackle, and you have to punt. Yeah, so the Commanders could never really figure out their corner issue, right? Obviously, we broke it down in the first half film study that Lattimore was a disaster. And Mike Sainristil, obviously, that Saquon penalty was a bad call. You get a lot of pressure here, but Sainristil just gets cooked by A.J. Brown on this comeback route so bad that Jalen's still able to make this throw. And, you know, Mike does a good job making that tackle, but still. 2nd and 3, and I think every defense on the planet is just getting fooled by this play call, okay? This is one of my favorite plays to run into the boundary, which is a tight end wheel as the intermediate option. Okay, so you're running a vertical here. Saquon going into the flat had been killing you, and obviously there's going to be a lot of gravity with Saquon Barkley, and this vertical from Dallas Goedert behind this vertical is always going to be open. The protection is ridiculously good, and, well, you know, there's just a lot of defenses getting fooled by that at this juncture. You need your big-time players to make big-time plays, and the backup right here, Tyler Steen, dominates first-round rookie Johnny Newton. I don't know why he didn't go by Jerzan. That's such a better name than Johnny. But he just gets dominated, and it opens up the hole so big on this QB draw. And this is just very simple stuff. 51 here, Barkley here, and this is a walk-in touchdown. It's just really bad defensive line play. Give 64 credit, almost diving in and making that play. But, man, Jonathan Allen picked the worst time to miss his first game. And what does Jayden Daniels do? Well, he delivers. Okay, once again, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of A-gap pressure right up the gut. And what does JD5 do? Well, he delivers an absolute strike. He gives some ground here, and nobody gives ground in the NFL right now better than Jayden in my estimation. And look at that. Finds an open De'Ami Brown, who had some issues really securing that, but he still makes the play. Okay, so Cliff Kingsbury saw Dallas Goedert do this, so guess what? The Commanders are going to do the same thing. So you have a flat route, vertical, and an out behind it. Love this flood concept, and this was actually one of Tom Brady's favorite play calls of the evening. And at any level of football, teams struggle stopping this as Zach Ertz cooked his former team. Now, was this a bad call right here? Yes. This should have been excessive if the Saquon one was excessive. So, sure, yeah, this should have been an extra 15. Bless this quarterbacking here from Jayden Daniels. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so you get a basic simulated pressure, 19 backs out. You got a blitzer coming from this direction. And because the Eagles have such a good front, all game long they were able to stay in this very comfortable two-high quarters type of shell, right? Umbrella coverage. So the thing that could get kind of creative with this, and the Eagles do a good job of it, is the robber aspect of it. You could bring a guy into the box, so on and so on. Because if you're getting pressure, it's just so freaking difficult to make plays, okay? And look at this from Jayden. Waits for this Zacchaeus route to get open, throws it. Could that have been a little quicker? Sure, but it's still a good throw. Really good catch. Now we get to this masterful Jayden Daniels touchdown run, playing with so much joy and passion. Man, first off, let's give Cliff Kingsbury a lot of credit on this play call. All right, we know that they have been doing this all season long. All right, overloading one side of the line of scrimmage. So this is actually an offensive guard going to the left side here, and the tight end essentially becomes the offensive tackle here to the right. So the strength call actually here is to the left or to the defense's right. So what does Jayden Daniels and the Commanders decide to do? Well, they run away from the strength call. Now, what's really funny about this is Zach Bond actually sees it pretty quick, this option, but you can see the Eagles are really stretched. Now, Jayden sees that the Eagles have this covered pretty well, but he reads this like how a running back would read it. He stops, waits for this flow, to overrun itself, and he just cuts back on it. I mean, it's just a ridiculous way to find a gap, and he scores. I mean, there's just not many QBs ever doing that. It's just ridiculous stuff. Love the play call. Eagles, I think, overall defended the initial play pretty well, but there's only one JD5. All right, so what do the Commanders do? Well, they come out for the two-point conversion, and they overload one side and go away from it again, okay? So, obviously here to the left side, you have to compensate for these extra tight ends. Play action fake, trying to get Zach Ertz on the slip, and Blankenship has it covered, all right? So now Jayden is looking for something, all right? Should this have been a legal man downfield? Sure, which makes me think that this was a slip to Zach Ertz the entire way, all right? So Jayden stops, and, well, he eventually finds OZ in the back of the end zone. It's a really good route by him as well to beat Darius Big Play Slave for the two-pointer. All right, 3rd and 5. I think this was actually one of the worst defensive play calls of the night because the Commanders just kept spamming this, and the Eagles started to pick up on it. Now, in the first half, the first time they did this, they got a big sack, and it forced them his field goal. The second time was the A.J. Brown goal ball that should have been a holding call on Saquon. So this is the third time you show a double-A gap look, and you just bring everyone. And this time the Eagles are like, okay, we think you're going to do this, so we're going to run the best man coverage beater on the planet Earth, which is mesh. And unfortunately, the Commanders are in the worst look. Double-A gap pressure takes out the middle of the field, and obviously you're just at a huge leverage disadvantage. It's a mag call, which means man everywhere he goes, so none of these routes are getting passed off, and that is just way too difficult of a play for Marshawn Lattimore to pick up. So this is a little too easy. I would have liked to have seen one drop back to the middle of the field, but you're just going to lose running the same play, and Saquon's block right there was absolutely positively huge. Now, this ends up not being a big play, but the first down there was so critical. All right, 3rd and 5. Guess what? You bring it again. And this time, it works, right? Because Jurgens is hurt, can't make this play. Luvu, who was a controversial figure in this game, steps in and makes a big play. All right, so the Eagles elect to punt because they don't trust their field goal kicker. Play action fake, and man, this is really good quarterbacking from Jayden Daniels. This is good reading of the game as well. See the leverage disadvantage. Once again, I've said this plenty of times. There's no tight end in the NFL better at running over the middle than Zach Ertz, okay? Are there better tight ends, more explosive tight ends? Oh, yeah. Ertz is not a top 5 tight end in the NFL. But this season he was top 10, and it's because of in-breakers like that. This play is a perfect encapsulation of this game. The other team being better coached, the other team overall having better players. Now, let's start with the initial defensive alignment. All right, the Commanders are down by 11. All right, so the Eagles, like they had been doing all game, look at how far back they are playing. All right, 2 deep safeties, cornerback here, cornerback here. So no aggressive coverage at all. And the linebackers are light-footed as well. So really, against this front, you have to like your protection. But Alec Reddy just had an absolute disastrous game. And guess what? He gives up A-gap pressure again. All right? This is something that happened all half. And once again, Jayden Daniels is absolutely positively ridiculous. Could he have spun out here and make a bigger play? Sure. All right. But this is good quarterbacking. Hit your check down to an all-time great receiving running back out of the backfield. Once again, that A-gap pressure did not help. And look, it's a really good throw, really good play. But Burks comes in and knocks it loose. Now, once again, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but Biadasz got the fumble. All right. The Eagles never had full possession of this. This is one of the worst calls I've seen ever in the playoffs. There's no way that any referee could say that anybody has firm possession of the ball right here, and it's clear Biadasz wins the scrum. Look, there's a football right there. Nobody has it clearly, and it should just go to the guy that eventually gets the ball, which is him, okay? It's just that simple. A.J. Brown had a big catch on Sanders still after the fumble, and now we get to the dagger here. And, man, you know, I shared why I picked the Eagles earlier this week. And by the way, give your boy some credit. I picked every NFC game correct this playoff cycle. So this is just an all-time offensive line doing all-time things. First thing, 99 right here gets absolutely smoked by the offensive tackle. So what I would have liked to have seen happen here, if I know that Luvu is coming around on this blitz, if I'm 99, I want to hold this left tackle just a little bit longer. But watch what Jordan Mailata does. He processes a ridiculous bit of information right here. He sees 99 cutting to the inside, and out of his periphery, he sees Luvu coming around the edge. And because this is a hard step to the left by every single offensive lineman, just a simple zone block to the left, he knows that the left guard is also going to be here to help pick up 99. So watch. Boom. And then boom. Watch how his head just snaps right here to pick up Luvu to kick him out here. This is ridiculous stuff. 99 gets pushed way too far to the inside. This guard gets 99 to the second, a yard and a half behind the line of scrimmage. And look at that. All right. So 99 is completely out of this play. And then because he gets blown out of here so hard, guess what? Mailata is able to get over here and kick Luvu out of this play, and it opens up a gaping hole. The next thing that goes wrong here is 20 has a really, 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 really bad run fit here. Okay? So you'll see that at the snap, Bobby Wagner runs with Devonta Smith. 20 is probably thinking, hey, I need to, replace 54 Bobby Wagner right here, but he gets caught up in the wash. It doesn't help. 99 is right in his lap, and guess what? Now he's getting blocked by 99's guy really badly because he's in the way, all right? So really, who was that, Clinton Farrell? 99 just really destroyed this play for the Commanders, who just did not have enough juice on their defensive line. Anyone that's watched him this year, you know this. And, of course, he's not even going to touch him. It also does not help that Marshawn Lattimore, once again, just as a corner, is in a really tough spot. He actually doesn't play this all too bad. Do I think he could have gotten off of this a little bit sooner to help out with this? Maybe so, but this time he spun out. Remember in our breakdown earlier this week, we talked about him just kind of fading off and not making this hard enough. Well, he did a little better there, but you're just in trouble, and I need Jeremy Chin to make this play, and he does. Okay, that's a really, really, really good tackle, but once again, 99. Ugh. Whew. JD5, what a play. Find Zach Ertz versus a safety. Zach Ertz runs a really good out, and Jayden throws an absolute dot right here to Ertz. Wow, good throw, even better catch. Let's go to this 3rd and 12, and it was a tough year for Luke McCaffrey in the first year here. Now, one thing I do want to point out is the Commanders did end up missing a guy like Noah Brown in this game. Once again, you could make a case that Jayden should have just kept feeding the hot hand here to Ertz. This comeback was also there. But I understand McCaffrey, he wants to make sure he's past the sticks on this 3rd and 12. But I do think in this situation, you do need to keep coming back to the football. Big play Slay, is that pass interference right here? In theory, you could make the case that running through someone like this is PI, but it's too bang-bang, and McCaffrey just goes down too easy, and it's almost a pick. So in our referee video, we did not include this play. God, this is a huge, and I mean huge, blatant miscall right here from the referees, okay? So what the Eagles decide to do is run a QB spy with Jalen Carter, and this is honestly really well executed by Philly, all right? So Huff cuts to the inside here, spin move to avoid this chip, and that is not, in theory, what you want to do with Jayden Daniels, but this time it is by design, right? The Bills did this versus Lamar Jackson, where you have someone cut to the inside, quarterback thinks he has contained beat, but there's actually a few players there, okay? Nolan Smith running the hula hoop here, Jalen Carter right here to make the sack as well, but this has to be whistled. Clear, and I mean clear, defensive holding by Jalen Carter. That had no impact on the play, but you'll see right here, okay, that is a clear tug, all right? Defensive holding could happen anywhere. Normally, they're going to be a little bit more lenient behind the line of scrimmage, but when you're putting your hands up in the air like that, clear tug. And it would have changed nothing, but it should have been a flag and a first down for the Commanders. Washington could never figure this out defensively. Saquon just kept bouncing on him. All right, 92 missed aligned earlier for a bounce touchdown. I understand taking the block square, but you've got to keep your outside shoulder free. It's a good block right there by Calcaterra. And then, of course, A.J. Brown was a really good blocker in this game. Sometimes he can get patty cakey. On the first run, he actually was patty cakey, but still, this Commanders defense was just bad. 3rd and 6, like it really matters at this point. Once again, there's a missed hands to the face right here by the Commanders. Jalen Carter retaliates right here. Bang with the hands to the face. So 2 missed calls right there. Normally the second guy is getting whistled, especially if somebody's falling down like that. And still, Jayden Daniels does Jayden Daniels things. But watch this right here by Zach Ertz. My God, this guy had one whale of a football game. All right, 3rd and 10, Jayden gets an INT here. This is not a throw that I think he makes in an actual game. Obviously here, and we saw Jayden do this all season long, he was so good on in breakers. taking what the defense gave him. He's throwing this in an actual game. But right now, they've doubled up your score. So you do need to start scoring points. And Terry had been quiet. Give the Eagles a lot of credit. This is still not a bad throw, if you ask me, right? Jump ball. Give Terry McLaurin a chance to make this play. Quinyon Mitchell just makes a better play. I mean, this is as ridiculous of an INT you'll see. It really is that ridiculous of a play. So it's an INT against Jayden. Give them credit, okay? Commanders fans, we are at the end. Now, what I first need you to do is comment below, what would you like to see this offseason, okay? Do you want a lot of NFL draft content? Let me know. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Was there a lot of bad calls that went against the Commanders? Yes, the refereeing was very much in favor of the Eagles in this game. But the simple truth is they're likely winning this game regardless.
I couldn't be prouder of the guys in the locker room. You know, just year one, everybody not really knowing each other. Rookies, the vets did a tremendous job of, you know, bringing us in and helping us out. And, you know, we all just meshed, and, you know, we got to this point. But at the end of the day, man, you know, we lost. It sucks.
So, once again, if you want to see the first half film study, it'll be linked down below. But, y'all, it is ridiculous that Jayden Daniels took this roster to the NFC Championship game. And the one thing I'll say is Jayden is by far the best quarterback in the NFC, especially if you filter it out for quarterbacks under the age of 30, right? He is by far the best. And you don't have to deal with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and number 15 for Kansas City, and Justin Herbert, and Drake May, who I think is going to be really good, and Bo Nix with Sean Payton. You don't have to deal with any of these guys. Now, let's get to the harshest truth about this game today. Now, I understand Commanders fans, what I'm about to say is not going to be welcomed, and that's perfectly fine. But I lost some subscribers in my preview NFL piece when I predicted the NFC playoff picture absolutely perfect. I had the Commanders losing in the NFC Championship game to the Eagles, even though I want, obviously, Jayden to win, okay? Jayden was never going to win this game with all the mistakes that the Commanders made. But even with those fumbles and stuff, the better team was on the opposite sideline. And look, one thing I'll take to heart here is this will be the least talented Commanders team around Jayden Daniels. So Washington really needs to put the foot on the gas, because I do think it is their NFC starting next year. But for this game, unless everything went absolutely perfect, the calls, the mistakes, man, you said so many guys. I mean, I think right there is a tug right there on Jalen Carter that was missed. I just don't think Washington was ever going to win this game. You know, you had a rough Thursday night game earlier this year versus this team. Then in the last game, a Kenny Pickett Eagles team almost beat you. And it took a very special Jayden Daniels drive to Jamison Crowder to win that game. So that's harsh. It's a tough pill to swallow. Philly's always winning this game, but it is what it is. To the future, it is Power Hour NFL. Boom! Now floating in your face, the other Commanders breakdowns we've done for this game. And tonight, we're doing shrimp pasta. Let's go.